Danielle, after you blew the whistle, I went to court, and that girl Sandy made the arrangement. She was calling the judges, and this is one instance where I went back to get the transcripts. They erased all of them, and they admit erasing them. I went to emancipate you. I wasn't there for the emancipation. I was there to try and find out how I could get in touch with you. You told me on the phone, well, Dad, you didn't call me. You'll see in this hearing, I'm telling the lady, look, they won't let me see my daughter. They won't let me have her phone number. So I'm not here for the emancipation. I'm just there to talk. And you see this lady won't let me talk and tell her that this girl Sandy is calling the judges and that Randolph O'Brien had put an injunction where you're not allowed to come into court. I read your WordPress. It says, through your own personal experience, you understand. I understand too, babe. I'm not going to let you down. What I promised you, I will never, ever stop until that promise is complete, till the day I die. This is the emancipation hearing. She says, what relief are you seeking? And I start talking. She says, no, 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 no. This is this girl Sandy's friend. All of these judges are this girl Sandy's friend. She says, well, what relief are you seeking? And I said, well, there's a washout going on. You guys are trying to cover it up. There's corruption. And then later I asked, I said, look, I need my daughter's phone number, and they will not give it to me. You'll see, babe.
$15 towards the arrears, 77 for 13 years. What relief are you seeking, sir?
The relief I'm seeking today is emancipation with a washout of my arrears.
Who are you seeking to have emancipated and why? Officer, I'll take that worksheet. Yes. Party left it behind.
My daughter, Danielle Mauriello. I had a relationship with her for 13 years. She's now 19.
No. Why do you feel she should be emancipated?
Okay, because I haven't seen her in 6 years because of corruption.
No. You're giving me history about some other issues. We're going to stick with the issue of emancipation.
Why?
Why do you feel that she should be emancipated?
See, Danielle, I'm not there for the emancipation. Every time I try and talk, like you say in your WordPress, that they change what you mean and they alter your thought, and that you try as hard as you can to tell. I understand, Danielle. Once again, I am not there at this for the emancipation. I said, well, I'm here to tell you about the corruption. This, in all these judges, are these girls Sandy's friends. She says, no, don't tell me that. No. Well, I'm here because of the washout, what you guys are trying to... No, you can't tell me that. Okay, the Second Amendment rights, you're supposed to tell when somebody does something like that to you. And I said, I'm here because of the corruption. They won't let me see my daughter. No, I don't want to hear that. Danielle, you said through your own personal experience, you understand. I understand, babe. I know exactly what they do. Once again, I'm not here to emancipate you. They know as soon as they see me, I go to court, the lady starts screaming, yelling, shouting, and threatened to have me thrown in jail if I say the words, look, this girl Sandy's calling the judges, they're taking bribes, and they just throw you in jail. Once again, this is a emancipation hearing, Danielle. I am not there to emancipate you. I'm trying to find out where you are. I'm going to play her next. I'm trying to find out what college you're going to so I could see you. And then next I say, well, what is her phone number? And they won't let me have your phone number. So then they're going to go to you. They told me this in jail, Danielle. They said, what we're doing is we're telling your daughter you made no attempt to see her. And we're telling her that you're not calling her. Gee, I wonder why my dad's not calling. And you'll hear me demanding, look, they're taking bribes, and you hear this lady shutting me down every time I go to court. Any single court I go to, they just shut me down. She's screaming and yelling, oh, no, you're not allowed to tell me that. No. I said, look, what college or university is she going to? You have to tell me. And they go, well, we won't tell you. I said, I want to do some fact-finding, and I want to tell you about the bribes, how this girl's saying, no. They just shut you down. They cut you off. I read your WordPress. I know that you go through the same thing. You have the same experience. Once again, Danielle, I went there not to emancipate you, to find out where you were. I knew exactly what they were doing to you. Your mom was supposed to go to jail, and I have Joe on tape saying that they're going to prevent me from seeing you if I take them to court. You did the right thing when you told and said, Dad, they're doing it again. You have to go to court. So after that, I went into the pizzeria to see you. I know they moved you so we couldn't see each other or talk to each other anymore. So I went to court and said, hey, I want to emancipate her. I'm not there, Danielle, to emancipate. You hear me next day. I'm there for fact-finding. I want my daughter's phone number, and I want to know where she goes to college. They will not let me know. This girl, Sandy, got paid. This girl, Kathleen Mcquilla, in the court right now, is this girl, Sandy's friend. And you hear her say later, Mr. Sittel, you and I go way back. That means this girl, Sandy, she claims that her and I are friends, and I go into the deli to see her, etc., etc. You'll hear me there say, look, I want fact-finding. I want to know where my daughter goes to school. I want to know her phone number. You'll see, Danielle.
How do you feel that she should be emancipated?
I'd like to ask some questions, fact-finding first to find out.
No. This isn't, when you file a motion, you're bringing
I feel that she should be emancipated because she's 18 years old, and the money and hardships I have had that this woman has put me through, me coming to court to file for visitation.
You're not telling me why you feel the child should be emancipated.
Because she's 18 years old, she's now 19 and a half years old.
Age is not the major factor in a person being emancipated. One could be 21 years of age, still in high school, or a full-time student in a college or university.
Right.
Does that mean that they're emancipated? So that's where we need to focus in on. Strictly the issue of emancipation.
I'm trying to go...
No, you're giving me some other history about some feelings. You need to tell me, this is why she should be emancipated. She's 18, she's 19, she's not in school. Here's my proof.
She's 19 and a half years old, and I have no history on her. I need fact-finding.
So you have
to find out if she's going to school.
Then you should have...
I said, try and find out where she's going to school. This lady's fighting me tooth and nail.
She's 19 and a half years old, and I feel my obligation is through.
It's the law isn't based on your feelings. You have to present the proofs to the court to show why she should be emancipated. If she's not in school, produce the proof. But you have no information.
This is the only way we can find out if she's in school. I can't get any information from her.
And filing a motion the way you...
See, Danielle, I'm trying to find out where you go to school. They will not tell me. This is girl Sandy's friends. Now, Danielle, what they're doing is, you and I have photo albums. We have videos, how tight we were, and I know that you can't talk or what they'll do to you. What they do is they play a game with me when I go to court. See, Mr. Sittel just doesn't want to be involved with his child. He just won't pick her up. He just won't call her. You'll see the game. This woman's name is Mcquilla. Playing a game with this girl, Sandy. Playing a game with your mind. They were supposed to go to jail. Since you're 1 year old, if they don't let you out of the house, I know they torture you. You've had nervous breakdowns. I understand everything that you were trying to say in your 1387. So when I go to court, this girl Sandy has all her friends and all these judges. It's called gang stalking. They start screaming and yelling, Mr. Sittel, I don't want to hear that anymore. They start going crazy. You'll see. All these guys are working together. You'll see exactly how they do it, Danielle. Do not believe them when they say, gee, I wonder, your dad's just not calling you. And your mother lies to people and say, he just won't come around and pick her up anymore. She just doesn't want to see him. That's what they do. I know what they're doing to you, Danielle. When I promise you something, I promised you justice. I'll get it.
All you need to do is get involved with the child. You don't have any proof. She'd have to open her mouth.
I can't get involved with the child, ma'am. She won't let the child come out of the house for 6 years. I had 13 years of court-enforced relationship. She found a friend named Sandra Altamari that influenced the judges when I filed motions to go to court. They're supposed to go to jail. Since the child was 1 to 13, I have had court enforcements preventing her from torturing my daughter and harassing her not to go with the family. I haven't seen my daughter for 6 years because of this. I'm not allowed to speak to my daughter. My daughter has been screamed at by her mother not to talk to her father when I pick her up at the house. My family down in South Carolina is having all kinds of, my daughter's having nervous breakdowns because of this separation.
Daughter. Father is not prevented from contacting daughter by phone.
This happened when she was 13.
Sir, you can let me finish?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can interrupt. But see you on your way.
Okay.
Okay. Will you go on your way? You can let me read the document.
Read the document.
Okay. We have history, Mr. Sittel. We go back a while. Mr. Quiet, you know, I'm going to have the last word, so I'll go sit tight. And it states, father not prevented from contacting daughter by phone to arrange a meeting with her. If you're being prevented from doing that, motion to court. I had that enforced.
I did for 2 years straight and I lost.
That's the last court proceeding, I see.
My daughter will not sleep at night. If she finds out my daughter is talking to me on the phone, she will harass her.
Mr. Sittel, I didn't ask what the young lady was saying to do. I'm telling you what your rights are. If she's not allowing, you come back to court.
Can you ask her what's my daughter's phone number? Or could I see that Passaic County College schedule too?
May I see the document now?
Can I have a copy of it? And I need a phone number to speak to my daughter.
She said no.
She will not give you that phone number, sir. Motion to court to have that address.
She just said no.
Now, Danielle, what you're hearing, okay, do not listen to this Kathleen Mcquilla. It's all a big game. Well, Mr. Sittel, if she won't give you the phone number, motion the court. Now, when you go to court, they throw you in jail. I tried to get your phone number, Danielle. They won't let me have it. I tried to find out your schedule at Passaic County College, and you hear it says, no, I won't give it. Now, the game is, and the mind-blowing factor, is this Kathleen Mcquilla is on the take. Once I tell her Sandra Altamari is calling all the judges, you hear her in the beginning cutting me off. No, you're not allowed to tell me that. No, you're not allowed to tell me that. Once this judge finds out that her girlfriend, number one, is Sandra Altamari, they're just playing a game. Did you hear her say, well, Mr. Sittel, you have to get involved with that child. They're playing a game with the whole general public. I don't know. He just won't be involved with his child. He just won't pick her up. That's the game. It's a big game, Danielle. It's all psychological. I tried to get your phone number. I tried to find out where you were in college. Now, on June 23rd, at 9:23 p.m., you and I had a secret. You were going to try and sneak out of the house. I know I tried to come and pick you up. I have recordings of your mother saying, tell him, Danielle, tell him right now you don't want to see him. You also heard this Kathleen Mcquilla just say, Mr. Sittel, you and I go way back. See the big game with this judge, Danielle? Says, well, Mr. Sittel, all you have to do is get involved with the child. Well, how do I do that? I go to the house, pick her up. They won't let her out of the house. They've been doing that since you were 1, Danielle. You know, I saw your 1387, your WordPress, what they do to you. And the big game is, well, Mr. Sittel, you need to get involved with that child. Like I'm some idiot, and I don't call you, and I don't come and pick you up. That's what they're trying to fool the general public. On the other end of that stick is they lie, make you lie, and say, I don't know, Danielle just doesn't want to see her dad anymore. It's that simple. What they did is they erased the Randolph Sobrian tapes. Your mom tries to bring you into court, forcing you into court, and the judge arrested her on the spot. They erased those transcripts at the end, so it's not there anymore.
I'm not allowed to speak to my daughter. My daughter has been screamed at by her mother not to talk to her father when I pick her up at the house. My family down in South Carolina is having all kinds, my daughter's having nervous breakdowns because of this separation.
Sir, I'm reading Judge Guzman's order. Father is not prevented from contacting daughter by phone.
This happened when she was 13.
Sir, you can let me finish?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you interrupt. But see you on your way.
Okay.
Okay. Would you go on your way? You let me read the document.
Read the document.
Okay. We have history, Mr. Sittel. We go back a while, so sit quiet. We know I'm gonna have the last word, so I might as well sit.
That's that Sandra Altamari right there.
It says, father not prevented from contacting daughter by phone to arrange meeting with her. If you're being prevented from doing that, motion to court to have that enforced.
I did for 2 years straight, and I lost.
That's the last court proceeding, I see.
My daughter will not sleep at night. If she finds out my daughter is talking to me on the phone, she will harass her.
Mr. Sittel, I didn't ask what the young lady would say you do. I'm telling you what...
Notice she just said, I don't care what the young lady was saying or doing. I had already told hundreds of thousands of people, Danielle, look, I have tapes of her mother stating she's going to force my daughter into court and make her say she doesn't want to see her dad. Judge Randolph Sobrian told him, look, I will not let you do that. I am putting you in jail. They erased all the transcripts. Now, Danielle, one, I had already been to court for you for 2 years. This girl, Sandy's calling the judges, including this Mcquilla, who's talking right now. Mr. Sittel, we go back a long way. She's telling me, look, this girl, Sandy, she is a cuckoo, Danielle. Cuckoo. Nuts. I had nothing to do with her. I walked out on them. I would never, ever go out with her in 10 million years. I told this judge, look, my daughter is having nervous breakdowns because her mother is screaming at her. I want to play the tapes. I had already told her and told all those judges, look, I have tapes of her mother stating that she's going to make her go to court and say, and that her stepfather is telling me, prevent from seeing your daughter. All those proofs, you hear her now saying, I don't care what the mother said in the past or what you could prove. Why don't you just call your daughter? Why don't you get involved with your daughter? You see, Danielle, it's all the big game. Well, if you can't get that phone number, motion the court. It's just a vacuum. They want me to go to court again for another 2 years and do this all over again. They just won't let me see you. There was no way possible I could contact you or get your phone number. You hear them saying, I won't give it to you.
Ask her what's my daughter's phone number, or could I see that Passaic County College schedule too?
May I see the document now?
You can have a copy of it, and I need the phone number to speak to my daughter.
No copy.
If she will not give you that phone number, sir, motion to court to have that address.
She just said no. Okay.
What did I say? I didn't say what she said she was going to do. I'm telling you to bring you to the court.
See, Danielle, this is called gang stalking. This judge has no right to scream and yell at me like that. I'm telling her, okay, I've been to court. Mother's supposed to go to jail. Stepfather says this or mother says this. She says, I don't care what they've said in the past. I already talked to this judge, said, I need you to hear the tapes of the stepfather and mother saying that they're not going to let her go. They're going to interfere in the relationship. And the judge, Randolph Sobrian, he says, look, if I catch you doing that again, like what's on these tapes, you're going to jail. They erased all the tapes, Danielle. This has been going on since you were 1. I tried to get your phone number. This Kathleen Mcquilla is contacted by the Sandra Altamari. You hear her say, Mr. Sittel, you and I go way back. That's a problem. This girl, Sandra Altamari, is spit on the ground. I walked out on them. I had nothing to do. So for the rest of my life and your life, they need to follow us around and make sure we're not telling anybody. I saw you wrote, I try as hard as I can to tell. And they discount what you're saying and change what you mean, alter your thought. So you hear this lady screaming at me like that. I'm trying from her to get your phone number, force her to get your mother to give me your phone number. You hear, Mr. Sittel, blah, blah. That's screaming and yelling. It's supposed to make you and have an effect on you. Like, oh, I shouldn't say that anymore. I shouldn't try and get my daughter's phone number anymore. This woman is involved in that. Now, I would go after this, I'd go to the deli. And I'd say, hey guys, you're all calling the judges. You're taking bribes. This girl, what's her dirty name? Terry DiStefano, all of them. They would start screaming and yelling, like this Kathleen Mcquilla, screaming and yelling at me and telling me they're going to call the police and have me arrested. So she was just reading off of a Judge Guzman saying, well, father is not prevented from calling his daughter. Judge Guzman was supposed to arrest your mom on the spot. On that Judge Guzman hearing, it's all cut off. I said, you guys are all calling one another. You're taking bribes. They just cut the tapes in half. They chopped off the ends of all of them. They all admit. So the distraction is for the general public. Oh, well, father is not prevented from calling his daughter. And you see, okay, well, what's her phone number? It's all a big game. And you hear this Kathleen Mcquilla is supposed to force your mother. Give that phone number. Why aren't you in jail? Why is this kid having nervous breakdowns? Why is she being treated for nervous breakdowns? Why aren't you in jail from the Sobrian order? And why won't you give him the phone number? This Kathleen Mcquilla, they all just play a little smooth little game. Well, here, the last order, it says, father not prevented from calling his daughter. What's her phone number? I'm not going to give it to you. Well, she won't give it to you, Mr. Sittel. Go back to court. Now, you go back to court for the next 50 years, Danielle. I lost thousands and thousands of dollars. Everything I had, I lost it. I quit work. I quit going to work. I was going to court 24/7. I knew what they were doing to you behind closed doors. I read your Danielle 1387. This Kathleen Mcquilla should go to prison. There's a lot of them that need prison. They took a bribe. They know the 1998 Randolph Sobrian orders. People are going to jail. They erased the tapes. I talked to you on the phone. Well, Dad, you could have at least called me. You see what they do, Danielle. Kathleen Mcquilla, right there on the spot, was supposed to force your mother. Look, you give that phone number, and you hear Kathleen Mcquilla playing a game. Well, Mr. Sittel, you need to get involved with your daughter. See, that's the mindset, Danielle. That's the game that they're playing with you. Well, gee, your dad just doesn't want to be involved with you. I wonder why he's not calling. They were supposed to go to prison, Danielle. They were supposed to go to jail. Gee, I wonder why he's not calling. I wonder why he's not picking me up. He's not picking me up because your mother is not letting you out of the house since you were 1 year old. 1998, Randolph Sobrian, which they erased. And nobody's doing anything about it. Everybody's just, oh, yeah. That's what they did. I tried to get your phone number, Danielle. But don't listen to the game. Well, Mr. Sittel, you need to be involved with your daughter. That's just a game for your mind and a game for the general public. Well, gee, I wonder why he's not calling. Once I tell this judge that Sandra Altamore is calling your mother and there's bribes being taken, there's supposed to be an investigation. Now, this judge is liable. She's liable. Well, he told you, and you're telling him, oh, don't say that, don't say that. Look, I want fact-finding. I want to know where my daughter is. I want to know her phone number. See the game, Danielle? Then they'll go home and say, gee, I wonder why he's not calling. You know, Danielle, I've been to court. I gave my entire life to you. I died doing this. I promised you justice. You did the right thing, telling me on the phone, Dad, these people are calling the house. You're going to have to go to court again. They were supposed to go to jail. You hear how this judge was screaming and yelling at me. I would go to the deli and say, okay, guys, what's my daughter's phone number? And they start screaming and yelling. It makes everybody around you, ooh, there's some kind of problem. There's a problem with this guy. Why is everybody screaming and yelling at him? And she said, I'm going to call the police and have you arrested. And you hear this Kathleen Mcquilla say, I don't care what this young lady was saying to you in the past. I told each one of them, look, I have tapes. I have tapes of the stepfather, saying he doesn't care what the judges say, he's going to prevent me from seeing my daughter. And your mother says, well, when she goes to court, she's going to tell the judge, and that's what she's going to tell the judge. What they all know, and they just erased, is in 1998, Danielle, I gave my entire life. Sleepless nights, thousands of dollars, loss of work, fired from all my jobs because I know this and I could prove this, and I present it, and you see what happens. This lady starts screaming and yelling. That's what they do. It's called gang stalking. Best thing you could do is just tell people. Now, I know you said in your 1387 that you've been isolated from all your neighbors, and when you try and tell what happens, I'll do your talking for you, babe. I love you. I never quit. That's what it is. I promised you justice. I will bring it to you. Now, Danielle, remember I told you the other end of this stick. Okay, this is Nestor Guzman. In this hearing, I walked in. I had meetings with this guy. I told him for a year, look, all your judges are being called by the Sandra Altamari, exactly like I told this Kathleen Mcquilla. And he wrote to me. They would break into my apartment, steal the proofs that he was writing to me and that I was writing to him. He pretended he didn't know me. He just throws me in jail so nobody finds out about it. So I go in this hearing, it's cut off. I said, you guys are receiving calls from Sandra Altamari. You hear this Kathleen Mcquilla say, just tell you and I go way back. This Mr. Guzman told me the same thing. This Dr. Dasher told me the same thing, that this girl Sandy is calling each one of them. So I go into this Mr. Guzman and I say, look, pal, you're taking bribes. You're getting calls from this Sandra Altamari. You guys are all talking to me outside of this thing, and here we are in the courtroom. You're going to pretend that this girl Sandy isn't calling you. Now, this is staged, Danielle. Your mother comes in. First of all, she's supposed to be in jail, and this Nestor Guzman knows this. The game, when we get to court, is Nestor Guzman. What's the position with the child, ma'am? Mother says, well, she just doesn't want to see him, sir. I know, babe. I know. And when I went to the pizzeria, he says, well, he's stalking her at a pizzeria. I want to get a restraining order.
Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. And she's 17, she'll be 18 in March.
Yes.
Okay. What's her position with Steve today?
She doesn't want to see him, sir.
Any reason why?
Well, over the last, I think it's been a year since we've been here around.
Right.
He's been, the same thing, stalking her, and
Police force.
he finds out where she works, and
Any concern?
it's different, sir. It's more of a, like...
So Nestor Guzman is involved in this. I approached him. Danielle, you think I'm just going to lay down and go to sleep over something like that when I have tapes of Joe telling me he's going to prevent me from seeing you and confronting you on the phone about speaking to me? You were talking to him? No. This Nestor Guzman right now, he's playing a big game. I already went to him and said, look, I have tapes on the mother. And he already told me, just like this Kathleen Mcquilla was saying, Mr. Sittel, you and I go way back. Meaning, that's this girl, Sandy. Like, we're supposed to be friends. I had nothing to do with her, Danielle. Spit on the ground and walked away from them. Had nothing to do. So she would call all the judges. This Nestor Guzman is playing a big game right now. I already told him, look, you guys are receiving calls from the Sandra Altamari, just like I told Kathleen Mcquilla. And they're telling, oh, no, you can't say that. And the game is, before you get there, they tell your mother, okay, I want you to say, well, what's the child's position? Oh, she just doesn't want to see him, sir. And he stalks her at work. He tries to find out where she works. Now, Danielle, I know it's hard for you to talk. I went to your work. I saw you. You were serving me pizza. You wrote about it in your 1387, saying you don't just go to the restaurant to eat. You go to see people. This Nestor Guzman is playing a big game right now. I have a relationship with him for a year. The whole time I was going to court, I was talking to this guy. I was writing to him. I was presenting proofs of the mother and stepdad saying they're going to prevent me from seeing my daughter if I take him to court. He's sitting there in this courtroom right now, and it's all staged. They're having ex parte meetings, talking to one another. He already told me, like this Catherine Mcquilla, Mr. Sittel, you know I go way back. That's this girl Sandy. They all tell you, we're going to handle this the traditional way. I'm like, look, I have nothing to do with this girl Sandy. She is spit on the ground. She is calling my daughter's mother. They're calling all the judges. This Nestor Guzman is playing a big game right now. This is called street theater, where the mother plays a part. The judge already told them, look, when you come in, you say this and I'll say this. And I already told this judge, Randolph O'Brien, you got to look at the transcripts. Mother's supposed to be in jail. Here are the tapes of the mother and stepdad after the Randolph O'Brien saying that they're going to force my daughter into court and force her to say she doesn't want to see me. Here's the stepdad saying he's going to prevent me from going to court because all you guys know each other and this girl Sandy's calling you. So I would see this Nestor Guzman before this. He would say, well, Sandy said, and then they send you to the psychiatrist, and he says, well, Sandy said that, and I hope you guys can do something about it. But Danielle, this is what it is.
What's her position with you today?
Because there's a lot of things that,
Any reason why?
well, over the last, I think it's been a year since we've been here around.
Right.
He's been, the same thing, stalking her, and
Who's talking?
he finds out where she works, and
It's concerned. It's fine.
no, it's different. So it's more of a psychological thing.
Sir?
Sir, I'm Doug Sittel from 254 Totowa Road, Totowa. Past history is Danielle's mom married Joseph L. Hinn. I was friends with her for 4 years. In 1995, they got married. In the 4-year relationship before she married this man, she would tell me that the agreement in their marriage was to change my daughter's name, and my father, my mother, and myself, we would have no rights to my daughter. In 1998, I brought them in front of Honorable Randolph O'Brien, and I told them he prelimed the case and that they were going to try and bring my daughter in. I have...
Let me ask you some questions, sir. That's how I can interrupt you, because I'll let you speak as much as you want, so long as it's relevant to the issue. If your daughter tells me today that she doesn't want to see you,
She's going to under duress, sir. I have photo albums.
you understand, of course, that she needs to be 18 years old.
What Guzman just did there is he says, after I told him for the 1000th time, this is not the first time I know this Guzman. I have been with these guys. I have been with them for a year saying, look, this girl Sandy is calling Judge Capicello. The judge, Randolph O'Brien, says they're not allowed to bring my daughter in. The mother's supposed to go to jail. He already knows this. And when I'm telling him for the 1000th time, I'm telling him about the Judge Randolph O'Brien, he put his hand up and interrupted me. Says, I'm sorry to interrupt you. They don't want to hear about the Randolph O'Brien stuff because this girl Sandy is calling him. She's getting paid. So he's slick and he says, well, if your daughter tells me that she doesn't want to see you, now you have to go back to the daughter's mother saying, and when we get to court, she's going to go and tell the judge, I don't want to see him, and that's what she's going to tell the judge. Randolph O'Brien prevented that from happening. He's supposed to go to jail. This Guzman is supposed to go to jail. He knows he's not supposed to be talking to this girl Sandy out tomorrow. He knows who I am. They cut all the parts off of me telling him, look, you took a bribe, just like somehow it got through on the Kathleen Mcquilla. Me telling them, look, you guys are receiving calls from Sandy Altamari. They didn't chop that and erase it off the Kathleen Mcquilla one, who won't give me her phone number. She knows that Guzman and Capicello, all these guys are working together with this girl Sandy. I would sit with each one of them, and they'd say, well, look, Sandy called us and said...
Sir, I'm Doug Sittel from 254 Totowa Road, Totowa. Past history is Danielle's mom married Joseph L. Hinn. I was friends with her for 4 years. In 1995, they got married. In the 4-year relationship before she married this man, she would tell me that The agreement in their marriage was to change my daughter's name, and my father, my mother, and myself, we would have no rights to my daughter. In 1998, I brought them in front of Honorable Randolph Sobrine, and I told them he prelimed the case and that they were going to try and bring my daughter in. I have...
Let me ask you some questions, sir. That's not to interrupt you, because I'll let you speak as much as you want to go on as relevant to the issue. If your daughter tells me today that she doesn't want to see you,
she's going to under duress, sir. I have...
We're talking about maybe another half...
I'll never see her again, though, sir. I haven't seen her in 2 years. I'm not allowed to talk to her. I have them recorded on tape threatening that I will never see my daughter again if I take them to court.
What would you like with her?
Well, my family will never see her again, and in the past 5 years, they haven't seen her. After Randolph Sobrine ordered the visitation for 1 week summer vacation to see my family in South Carolina, we went. I have photos, videotapes of healthy relationship there. And then after that, Mrs. Elhin tells me I have West Patterson police reports that say she doesn't care what the judge says. I said the daughter can't go. And my daughter has to go in that house and live in there. She had a nervous breakdown because of this whole thing, and her health is failing.
I want to first speak to her. She's here with good.
She's going to tell you she hates my guts, doesn't want to see me, and then she has to go back inside that house. And I have documentary evidence on tape of her telling me that and threatening if I take him to court, I will never see my daughter again.
I'll ask her.
The reason why my...
This is again, Randall. This is Judge Guzman. They're trying to blow off the 98 court orders. I told him, look, I started this case when she was 13, and they're saying, well, you're coming forward now, that's a distraction. And I said, well, I started this case when she was 13, and the mother was supposed to go to jail. He says, well, that was then, this was now. He knows all about the Randolph Sobrine order, and he says, well, that was then, this is now.
It's valid what you're saying, that the fact that she's being coerced by her mother, but you understand, of course, that she's going to be 18 years old, and again, somewhat reluctant to force someone that's going to be 18 years old in about half a year.
I started this case when she was 13. They told me she couldn't go to South Carolina. Sir, you're going to be misled.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
She's
absolutely
18 years old. Well, she's 18 years old.
Yeah, and then I'll just never see her again anyway.
No, but that's going to be her choice. You can't come back to court for that because she's 18 years old.
Right.
So, you follow what I'm trying to tell you. Well, at this point...
I understand completely, sir. I understand.
You understand?
April 23rd of 2002, my daughter and I had plans to go see her grandparents. Miss Layton called me up interfering, going against Honorable Sobrine's orders.
Never ordered.
And she said, I don't care what the judge says, she can't go. This was 2 years ago.
Okay, so that's here today. We're here today.
He knows all about this 98 Randolph Sobrine order. The mother's supposed to, 1, go to jail, 2, the daughter's not allowed to come to court. I just told him about that order for the 1,000th time. He says, well, that was then, this is now. A distraction comes in this court. This is a circus court. The prosecutor now says this case has been closed since 1994. Now, Guzman knows I have this 98 Randolph Sobrine order. I've presented it to him, I've mailed it to him, I've faxed it to him. He knows all about it. I have a relationship with this guy. And now the prosecutor is going to throw in a monkey wrench distraction and say, well, this has been closed since 1994. It's not been closed since 1994. They know they're going around the 98 Randolph Sobrine order. And I say, well, no. I brought this up again. I keep bringing it to you guys, and they're making all kinds of distractions.
And I see the bags that my daughter is packing downstairs. My daughter's crying under duress. And Miss Layton says, tell him, Danielle, tell him you don't want to go with him. Tell him. And my daughter stood in front of me in tears.
Hi, hello. Mrs. Saunders?
Yes, Judge, is this FB 4726-89?
4726-89, that's right.
Plaintiff's case has been closed since 1994. There's been no activity since that time. Any recommendation I would be able to make? Obviously, I can't make a recommendation.
No, well, I'm not going to ask you to make a recommendation. This child's going to be 18 in March. And it has been closed since 1994?
That's correct.
So you asked me that to be notified, but they hadn't had a open process 10 years ago.
I would have come in to report on any history.
10 years ago, so there's nothing since 1994.
1998, I could show you under Randall O'Brien's order ordering visitation.
No. I'm talking about things involving with diapers.
See, I just told Guzman again, look, you guys are trying to throw in all these monkey wrenches and change around, like my daughter says in her site, they change what you mean, alter your thought. I've shown them this 1998 Randall O'Brien order in their faces for a year before this. Every single day I'm going to come to these guys and show them this order. I just told them about the order again, 1998 Randall O'Brien. You hear them say, no. That was then, this is now. They took a bribe. And you hear the prosecutor saying, oh, this has been closed since 1994. Each one of these guys, if the audience or the general public hears that, they're changing what you mean, like my daughter writes, and they're altering thought. And they're making everyone think, oh, this has been closed since 94. And I'm supposed to sit there like a dummy and say, no. This is 1998 Randall O'Brien. You hear every time I say it, he says, no. You guys get what's going on. Now, the lay of the land is there is a dirty liar named Sandra Kennedy. She's part of the problem. They just make up lies that I smoke pot. These people are filthy animal liars. There is a place I explained earlier. I go to the bar. To present these proofs. Try and find one of my contacts. Please, somebody come to me at the bar and meet up with me. There's nothing but trouble at the bar, and I want them to hear these tapes, and it's happening again. And if I go to the Highlander, an animal named Sandra Kennedy, she has a ministry. It's the Synagogue of Satan. And she says, well, Doug goes to the Highlander and he smokes pot. And he smokes cigarettes behind the building. He starts fights and we're going to put him in jail again. She is a dirty animal. She is a liar. That's all these people could do is lie. There was someone else now. Her name is Dorothy. She's saying, well, you've got to be careful what you put into your temple, meaning I take drugs. These people lie. They are dirty liars. That is all they can do is make up lies. Now, if someone was my friend, they would come to me at this Highlander and say, hey, do you know that you're being accused of taking drugs? I would say, well, what the hell are you talking about? I will beg you on my hands and knees for the past 50 years for a drug test. I have never, ever failed a drug test. I have never taken drugs. I go to this Highlander. I stand there. I drink water. I drink soda, waiting for someone to approach me and hear exactly what you're hearing now. And the response you get in return to this is this Sandra Kennedy animal says he goes to the Highlander in North Augusta. He smokes pot and he smokes cigarettes behind the building. She's a dirty animal liar. Danielle, I gave my life for you. That's what it is. I remember I went to pick you up. You were crying. They won't let you go. That's what it is. And I love you, babe. I'll prove it. I will never leave you behind, Danielle.